Okay, we are testing. Grandma, start talking. It's a test.
Oh, hello, I'm testing. Can you hear me with my mask on? Somebody say something.
Dad, can you hear it?
Say more, Grandma.
Can you hear me?
It's frozen. Now it's good.
Should I lift up a little bit of the bottom of the mask?
That has nothing to do with it being frozen.
No.
I'm not hearing it. Could you be on any kind of airplane or silent or anything?
No.
Let me tell Greg.
Could I put this up?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, then. Just try to refresh the page.
Oh, okay.
Because we'll need it to show the picture.
Can you hear her?
You hear her?
She just say, can somebody say something?
Oh, beautiful.
Welcome.
That's all we needed. Love you.
Yes.
Yeah, Jess did it on the horizontal way. Okay, beautiful.
Perfect. And if I go horizontal, it'll be better probably. Okay.
It is freezing. Wait, Greg, it's freezing a little. Should Jess be on a particular...
I'm on airplane mode.
No, but it's freezing.
I don't know. Does he have the extension at the EXT network running?
Yep.
You have the EXT. Okay, then there's nothing we can do.
Do you want my phone?
Grandma keeps freezing.
No, it's okay.
Hold on. Let me see if I can see.
Freezing again and again.
Are you connected to the Wi-Fi?
Good
Hey.
question.
He's on the EXT network, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Already on the live stream. If I end it, it's not gonna...
Oh, if Jess ends the live stream, we're dead. Right?
This I don't know.
If I exit out of the live stream, it'll be gone.
It's before the live stream starts.
Oh, that's true. Jess, it's before the live stream starts.
Don't even kill the live stream. Just change the network. See what happens.
I can't exit out of the page.
But don't get out of the live stream.
Jess is saying
No.
they can't get out of the page.
If I go out of Facebook, it'll end the live
Did you, when you did this, did you do it so...
stream. I'm always connected to the extension whenever I
But wait. Remember there are two choices. One is that when you end the live stream, that's it, it's dead. And the other is that it keeps going, which you're supposed to do if the connections are bad. Remember that's a choice in this? Do you remember how you did that one, Greg?
I did set it up, so I don't know.
Jess, did you set it up? There are two options.
Michelle said, I see her and hear her out for one moment.
Jess, when you set it up, you know that there's one thing that says, if the face...
Yes, no, it keeps going. It does keep going.
Oh, then do it. Break through, end it and start it again. As long as
I
you
have
know...
6 people in here.
But it's not working. She's frozen. You think go for it, Jess? Is that your feeling?
I don't see her being frozen. I see she's reading papers right now. But it is spinning. I don't know if that spinning's normal.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna check the Wi-Fi.
Jess, I don't think so. I think Jess
Okay.
is going to handle it.
Try again. See if it's working.
Okay.
Oh, I think I see her moving.
The broadcast has been paused. I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it better?
Jess, I think it is.
Okay.
Okay. Good work.
Alright, well, it is 7.
What happened?
It's working beautifully.
I don't know.
Jess figured it out. It's working beautifully. It's not stopping or stalling.
Okay, it's 7. You're good to go. So,
Are we done testing?
We are done testing.
Can I say welcome, everybody?
You can say welcome, everybody.
Will they hear me?
Yes, Dad. Go.
I have a wonderful family. They're all in on this. And I sit here and don't understand anything.
You don't have to wear your mask.
Okay, they can hear me now?
They can hear you.
Welcome, everybody.
You can take that off if you want.
Take this off?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The mask?
Unless you want to keep it on.
No, because I didn't wear lipstick.
Okay, then keep it on.
Keep it on. Guys, we begin. Jesse, do you have the picture here?
Yes.
Yes.
What then?
She's very muffled and quiet, not like normal. Is the volume 100%?
Wait, Hedy, she gotta take the mask off or change the mask.
Grandma, they're saying you have to take the mask off.
Even though I'm not wearing lipstick? Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear her now.
Shall I go put lipstick on?
You
No.
hear her well now?
It's okay.
Greg hears you well now. We'll say something else.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
You look fine.
I look fine.
You look fine.
Next week I'll wear lipstick.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, welcome. I'm going to begin because at the beginning of every broadcast, I begin with a drawing. Jesse's going to show it to you, okay?
Okay.
When I first met this little girl,
Wait, guys, the mic's not working. The mic is not working. It's not the mask. It's the mic. Something's wrong with the mic. Excuse me. Grandma, put your mask on again.
okay,
Yes.
and I'm sure that even channel 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and so on have the same issues.
Yes. All right. Can everybody hear? All right. So I guess just continue talking. I'll show the picture again. The sound was fine and working, but now my video feed is frozen. Okay. I can hear. Everyone can hear.
Okay, welcome everybody. Somebody say you can hear.
Yes. Yes.
Kenny-
Georgia and Tammy both said that. they
Kenny
could hear.
just appeared and he heard.
All right. You're good.
Who else heard?
Tammy and Deirdre.
Yay, Tammy and Deirdre. Okay, let's begin.
So here's the
When I
picture.
first met this little girl, her hands were too weak to hold her bottle. 3 months later, when I revisited the room, she could grasp a pencil and hold it for a few seconds. And the woman who was taking care of her looked at me and said, "We see time differently here. We count time differently here." And that sentence has helped me so much during the pandemic because time has changed. First, I want to tell you, Eric and I had decided that we were going to do something against prejudice. And we figured that the people who carry so much prejudice are people who can't recognize that all of us are different from each other. It's what I'm going to be trying to teach you here. Get to know if people do not look like you, that doesn't mean you're wrong or they're wrong. It just means that all of us are different from each other. And we need to learn to accept it because otherwise we become as lonely as we are now. This keeps coming down and I don't want to breathe on Jessie.
I'm wearing a mask. You can take it off.
No, it's okay. Let me keep pushing it up. It'll make me feel as if I'm doing my part. Okay? I'm going to be reading part of this because it took so long to write these words. And I went over them and I checked them. And I don't want to lose them by just speaking. So let me read sometimes, as I will now. When Eric and I decided that we would do this, we decided we would begin with people who had difficulties because they do not look or act like others. And Eric said, let's go to Harvey. Harvey Wiesenberg is known throughout New York State. But now through Facebook, I'm able to speak to people in other areas. And I would like you to get to know Harvey also. He not only fights for the people who have disabilities, he fights for the people who take care of them. And now, I want to talk about the gift that we all carry now, about time. I hold time as a gift, not as a given, because of what I am making is wonderful use of it. First of all, my body has become so much stronger. I think I should give up about the nose, right? Let me pull it very high and see what happens. Okay? Maybe I could get a different clip. There is a clip there. Okay. Okay. Because of painting and writing and reading makes me sit a lot. My legs have become very weak. And up to now, I was able to take my walker and walk. And my legs became stronger. But now I can't go out because there's been heavy wind and rain and now even snow. And it gets boring not being outside. So I figured out what to do. I speak to Alexa. See Alexa over there? Oops. And I speak to Alexa and I say, Alexa, play Oklahoma for me. And then I walk in the hall, singing on top of my lungs together with Alexa. I couldn't do that in the street. So think a minute how much we have by not being seen. If I would begin to sing in the street, I would probably be arrested. So that's another gift of this pandemic. Okay? And there are so many pages, but I want to talk about that we learn only what we want to. For all of you who are shut in like I am, some of you are busier than you've ever been because your children are home. My children are older than you are, and my grandchildren are young adults. So they don't need me, and I'm delighted. I am absolutely delighted. We learn only what we want to learn, and suddenly I have time to do so. I learn now that I have no need to schedule my life. All I have to do is to listen what my body tells me to do. When I'm sitting too long, everything is great because my body aches and I get up. And I have no schedule anymore. I do all my exercises on this wonderful iPad I have. And I pick my time. I can do it whenever I want to. So what I do, I ignore my habits because I can't use them anymore. I ignore what I feel I should do. Instead, I do what my body needs. Slowly, my body is learning that I'm listening. It didn't really trust me because when you listen to what you should do, it means extra work. And I run from extra work. But lately, I don't because it's my body talking to me and not the world. For example, when I broke my hip, my right hip, I couldn't cross my legs. Now I can cross my leg because my body said, you don't have to hurry. Oops, I want to show off. My shoe is heavy. In 1 month, I'll be able to do it better because I found out that if I inch into it, if I don't say to my body, you've got to, it rebels. So I just say, give me a little more. Try a little harder. Let's wait until tomorrow. And I learned that when after I broke my hip and my shoulder in rehab. We have a wonderful rehab here in Long Beach. And I remember this woman who was running this huge machine that people use for exercise. And a patient came and said, no, I don't feel like it, it hurts. So she said, that's okay. And she waited a little. And then she said, are you ready to try now? And it worked. So I talk that way to my body. I say, are you ready to try now? And it does. But not when I command it. Thank you. So I am learning so much. And when this pandemic is over, I won't race with you, but I can walk with you without a walker. Now I want to talk about this. I want to talk about what happened when I finished my program last Monday. I began to cry when everybody left, and I started to think of the program when I had read all the comments. I felt this lump loosening up and tears coming. Those were not sad tears. They were a release. And I realized I've been carrying words in my heart that I couldn't speak because I couldn't. They wouldn't be heard. And suddenly, last Monday, from the comments that you made, I realized you heard me. When I was 8 years old during Hitler time, and I learned that the only people who would hurt you are the ones who don't know you. But I didn't understand it. But that's when I began to draw real people and have them pose for me. And I realized when my son had become a psychotherapist and was able to ask questions of me that loosened up things that I had not understood. And he said, Mom, why do you only paint and draw real people? And I said, because if they knew us, they wouldn't hurt us. And that's why I'm showing you my paintings. Because for all these years, it isn't the buildings that matter, it's the people who spoke to me. And I would like to have you show the painting
Mom, do you want me to find you the
that
part?
I'm speaking of right now.
Do you want me to find the part you wanted to read from, or not necessarily? Do you want me to find the part you were going to read from, or you don't need it?
No, I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
But I would like to have Jessie show the painting.
It's on your Facebook page.
Oh, good. On my Facebook page. Can you all look to it?
Yeah. And the story is
With the story.
with
Okay.
the story.
Now I want to talk about the people. Because it's not my Lower East Side, which I love so much. It's the people I met. And I want to read about them. Okay. This painting, number 6, haunted me. What I learned in doing this painting is that I'm not doing a history of buildings, of time. I'm doing a history of what people carry inside of them that they cannot show. That's why this speaking to people is such an important part of this. When I speak of these paintings, I'm not speaking about the street. I'm speaking about the history people carry. And each of us carries our history. And each one of us humans is so precious because we carry a story that nobody else knows. The woman about to step on the sidewalk near the left corner of the painting does not resemble Rebecca. Rebecca is Orthodox, and she doesn't want her image to be taken. We first met in the summer of 1973, and from this grew one of those relationships where age and experience lose their meaning. Now I need you to be very peaceful while I look for what I know. That's okay, because I outlined them so that I wouldn't. You can read it. Here I am. Here we go. Oops. Let it stay on the floor. It's okay. I don't need it here. Thank you. Okay. We first met in the summer of 1973, and from this grew one of those relationships where age and experience lose their meaning. Friendship is a weak word. We grew to deeply love each other. She told me stories of the East Side, stories of the people she knew, and then bit by bit parts of her own past crept in. He was alive, and so were our two girls. It was a miracle. We found each other after the concentration camps, and he said that we would never go to America, only to Israel. And we had the papers, and we were going to Israel, and 2 weeks before we were to leave, he died. I came to America, and so did my two girls. 2 other children I buried in Europe. And when she talked, I would stop painting and I would listen. It was the second day of Israel's October War. The street was somber and people had tight faces. Is there anything new? Did you hear anything in the news? Rebecca came up to me. Her eyes were red and looked broken. I listened to what she told me, and forever after, when I hear of the October War, I will see Rebecca standing next to me on Orchard Street. What do they want from me? How much more do they want me to take? I went with my father to Warsaw. He wouldn't cut his beard. He was very pious. So I wrapped him in shawls so nobody would see and know he was a Jew. On the train I spoke Polish so no one would guess. We got off in Warsaw, and as long as I live, I will see this before my eyes. There was a big building. The Germans had told the Jews to bring their older sons, and when they didn't bring them, the Germans went out to look. And they had gone into the building, and they had found them under the beds, and in the toilets, and on the roof. And they threw them from the roof, and from the windows. And we got off the train in Warsaw, and some were falling in the street, and there was so much screaming, and there was so much blood. I toss and turn at night, and I cannot sleep. Go talk to God. Does he answer? On the street next to the curb stands Goldie. Galashov's is a dairy restaurant, which is a meeting place for the poor and the rich, for the shoppers and for the businessmen. Here Goldie and others like her come to eat and to escape the loneliness. I used to see her every day, whether it rained or snowed, in winter or in summer. I remember when I came to America, she said. It was March 28, 1911. How do I remember? People were schmaltz. Schmaltz is fat. I used to work in a factory too, like they did. The boss paid me $2.50 a week, and when the government men came to check if he had children working, he hid me in the toilet. And see. And now there's nobody left of my family except me and God. Kim came to America over a year ago, and his wife came a bit later. When I began this painting in the winter of 1974, he had been on Orchard Street for over 10 months without a single day off. Both he and his wife were working to save money for the passage of their 2 children, who were still in South Korea with their grandparents. He is an engineer. She's a pharmaceutical technician, and 7 days a week they sell wigs on Orchard Street. Kim is shown near the middle of the painting, straightening one of the wigs. How much time do I have?
7 minutes.
I would love to hear some of the comments. Let's do it after the 7 minutes. Is that okay? Then I can speak of the Greenbergs. On the right-hand side of the painting, which is of Rivington Street, stands Dr. Joseph Greenberg, his wife Hedy, and their son and daughter. I had met Hedy when she was sewing some of the Lower East Side. Later, when I painted her family, I wrote and asked Hedy if in any way they were connected to this area. Joseph, my husband's, Uncle Morris and his wife Celia, came over in 1903 and moved to Rivington Street to stay with her mother and father, Etta and Itzik Bernstein. The mother did all the cooking for marriages, verses, etc. in the neighborhood, doing all the cooking and sewing herself, and the father sold lemons from a push cart. He did very well for himself. For an interesting aside, and Celia's aunt-grandchild, Fanny, also lived there for a time, and married the Adler whose building you also painted. When my father-in-law came over, Hyman Greenberg, about 5 years later, he too moved in for a while, until he settled elsewhere. Fanny's mother moved across the bridge to Williamsburg, and Fanny, newly married to Adler, wanted to live near her mother, so she convinced her husband they should move too. The sister, Aunt Celia's mother, stayed on Rivington Street. I hope this makes some kind of continuity for your story. It certainly does seem that so many people who came over during the early influx of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe were interrelated in many subtle ways. Love, Hedy. Hedy called me sometime later because we had begun long conversations and told me she was dying. It hurts. I think what I want for all of you to know in my speaking, that each of us carries a story, and we need to hear these stories. And the reason I love doing Facebook, the reason I love tonight is maybe I'm the conduit. Because until we know what lies in each one of us.
Quotes of Eric are going to be in the Wall Street Journal online on Tuesday, an article by Elizabeth Bernstein.
Now, I would love to hear comments.
Yes, of course. So Donna says, "Love you, Hedy, your snow shoveling angel."
Yes. Donna, I could use you right now.
Alana Taylor responded to your not being able to sing in the streets without getting arrested. She said, "Revered, not arrested, my beautiful Hedy."
Revered. Yeah.
Hey, I don't do English. Okay, then Michelle says, "This is so moving tonight. I don't have the words to respond. Be well. I love you, Hedy, and everyone."
I knew her since she was a teenager. This means so much to me.
Yeah, and if anybody has any more questions or comments, now's the time.
I think Tammy had one.
Does Tammy have one? Let's see.
But, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, second from the bottom.
Oh, okay.
I'm smiling underneath my mask.
I don't see it, Dan. What does
How
it say?
long did it take you to finish that painting?
Tammy wants to know how long it took you to finish this painting.
At that time, I was strong. And I would sit for so many hours on the street and then go home and sit for so many hours. I believe it took me about half a year. Later on, when I did more people and traveled longer, a painting could take a year or more. I want to say something about Orchard Street. I found that I love Orchard Street so much because it seems like America to me. People come because they were chased away, because they couldn't be in their own world, or they were sold. And I did learn one thing. I have to be careful with words, because I say the word "you guys" very easily, very often. But a friend of mine, who's a female, says, why is everything guys? Fresh men, master's degree. Why can't it be us? So whenever I start to say "you guys," I'm going to become Southern and say "you folks."